Yeah.
He just
Hello,
wanted to
everyone.
show his
Yeah, I wanna show my
sunglasses
face.
off. Good morning, MilesPerHr crew.
There we go.
We're starting this one inside the cockpit of the Genesis G70 3.3 Turbo V6.
Oh, that looks cool.
That does look cool. We got a nice view over here, and we're gonna start by saying I apologize for running a couple minutes late, but then again, that's sort of like the default with the live Q&A, so you kind of like expected it. I hope you guys are interested in this vehicle because it really kind of rocked my world when it got behind the wheel. It's pretty darn good. We're going to answer the questions that came in on Instagram. If you want to follow me there, it's at MilesPerHr. You can also follow me on TikTok, also at MilesPerHr, posting videos in both those places every day. And we're also going to answer the questions that came in from the YouTube community page where I post the photo of this car and then say, hey, what do you guys want to know? So we'll answer those, but we'll also answer the questions of the folks who are tuned in live. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And what can I answer for you about the 22 Genesis G70?
So far, we live Q&A questions by Abby. Is this a concept car?
Avi is asking whether this is a concept car, and the answer is no. It is a production vehicle. I think, you know, like, it's got a pretty wild face, and we'll check that out when we pause in a parking lot and take a look at the exterior and interior. But it has a pretty wild face, so it looks a bit concept-y, but this is definitely a production vehicle.
How does it compare against the BMW M340i and Acura TLX Type S?
Okay, so yes, those are definitely direct rivals. The M340i, the Acura TLX Type S, the Audi S4 I'll also throw in there, and the Mercedes-AMG C43. And someone else asked about the C43 that I'll get to later. This vehicle is definitely the cheapest of the bunch. Starting price for the 3.3 Turbo V6, not the 2.0. The 2.0 starts in the 30s. The 3.3 Turbo V6, making 365 horsepower, starts at just 43,000 bucks. Compare that to the BMW M340i, which starts at 57, the C43, which starts at 58, the TLX Type S starts at 52, but the one as tested that I had and showed on this channel was 53. It's a huge deal. As tested, this one is 52, just under that, but that's fully decked out, and so it really more directly competes with the TLX Type S, because that one also kind of fully decked out was 55, so within, you know, $3-4 grand, and performance-wise, this is not really far behind. We're looking at 365 horsepower. The M340i was 382, C43 385, so a bit more. TLX Type S is less, 355. Audi S4 350, 349. So I mean, performance-wise, this is right there. It's a huge value. It's going to come down to whether you like how it looks on the outside and inside. This interior is pretty nice, and I know we're going to get some questions about the interior. Do we have any questions coming in?
Just about when you're going to review a different car, but that's not important right now.
Oh, okay.
We're going to go with another question here. We have, does it move?
Does it move? It definitely moves. We'll show you just as we make this left turn in a sec. I'll go into Sport Plus drive mode.
All right, here we go.
And we'll put the hammer down.
It's got a little pep.
Oh, it's got lots of pep.
Yeah.
This vehicle
Interesting.
really does get moving.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, 365 horsepower, rear wheel drive, and so as you're coming out of the corner, you can just really feel the back end want to come around. But then when you put your foot in it, it goes. And it makes a good sound too.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, this car definitely gets moving.
This goes perfect. There's on here on the your previous questions, it's how's the interior quality, and someone also asked, how does the interior quality compare to other vehicles, and I'm assuming in its class?
Yeah, so the interior quality is totally on par in this vehicle, and in some cases better. So like the TLX Type S I was in, there were some pieces that I was like, this felt a little on the cheaper end, like the HVAC controls felt like they were coming out of a Honda. Acura, of course, is owned by Honda, so that makes sense. But you don't want to really see that part sharing. This one, everything feels and looks pretty expensive. The leather stitched up here on the dashboard looks and feels very nice. The leather wrapped steering wheel feels great.
Whoa, it's perforated on the...
Oh, interesting. I wonder if that's wireless smartphone charging.
Yeah.
If it's for like overheating.
It is. That's nice.
That's really smart. Good eye, JD. And that would come from a tech person like you. If you haven't followed JD, check him out. He's into console gaming, and he brings some fun stuff to that. It's just Julian Melnick, right?
Yeah, it's just my name, Julian Melnick. You can find me at the if you click on the gaming section of the Explore channel, I'm there at the top. Still
Nice.
my channel's still trending.
Trending in the Explore channel on gaming. That's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I haven't seen that before. The perforations in the wireless charging pad, because your phone does get very hot. If you've ever picked up your phone from wireless charging pad, you're like, geez, this thing is hot. That helps. That really does help with that. So that's really cool.
I wonder if I'm going to feel, if I take it off real quick, any sort of
Warmth from it?
There's ventilation.
Is it actually?
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's awesome.
Dude, yeah, when I take it off, put your hand, like, get ready to put your hand right on top. Okay, put your hand on top of my phone and slam it down on the holes.
I couldn't really feel it, but you probably
I felt
know better
there's
than
ventilation. That's awesome.
That's super cool.
They actively cooling your phone. Oh, interesting.
Because it is getting warm.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool. Any other questions coming in live? I want to make sure I prioritize those folks because they are tuned in. If you scroll down or up.
Yeah, there we go. We have 15 times a question about a different car.
Okay. What is the question about the different car?
When are you going to review the 2021 Range Rover Sport SVR Bespoke Edition or Carbon Edition?
Okay, so first thing I'll say, guys, spamming the chat is not going to help you out.
No.
I'm not gonna really like prioritize your questions if you ask it a million times, and it frustrates the other people who do want to ask a genuine question. So please don't do that. And if there's a specific car you want to see in the channel, I'm not really incentivized to just get anything that I'm asked to get. I would say if you really want to see something on the channel, I do have a Patreon level and a YouTube memberships level where you can request a specific car and I will honor that. But I go through a lot of different cars and I'm getting cars from the automakers as they come out new. So I'm prioritizing those first, unless you become a patron at that level or YouTube channel member. I want to definitely thank those people for supporting the channel. But yeah, definitely spamming the chat's not going to help you.
No. All right, let's get to some more important stuff. Well, someone asked, does it have adaptive suspension? And then someone answered it in the chat, which said yes.
Yes, it does. This does have adaptive suspension. That is at a certain level. So the base 3.3 V6 doesn't have adaptive suspension. This one, the Sport with the Prestige, does, and it also gets the electronic limited slip-rear differential.
Genesis G70 versus BMW M30 340i.
Yeah, so we already kind of talked about that. This is going to be less expensive. It's going to make a bit less power. 0 to 60 for this is 4.7, whereas the M340i Car and Driver got 4 seconds flat. I would say this is really more, it's actually probably closer in terms of 0 to 60 than the numbers might suggest, at least from the automakers. This feels like a low 4-second car, 0 to 60. It doesn't feel like a high 4-second car. It's properly quick off the line. And this is the rear-wheel drive version. You can get this one with all-wheel drive if you want.
Question was about the sound isolation, and from someone who's not into the auto industry, I'll say it's not quiet.
Not quiet? No? Okay, so I mean, keep in mind, we are doing highway speeds here. There is, you can hear wind noise. You can hear a bit of road noise.
Yeah.
It's it's not full on luxury quiet. I'm gonna say the C43 and the S4 and the M340i are gonna be quieter in their cabins. I would say this is on par with the Acura TLX. And in fact, it was funny. I was with Forrest Auto Reviews, and he did a sound decibel test with his Apple Watch, and this was quieter than the TLX. So it's gonna be quieter than the TLX, but I think those other German competitors do have quieter cabins, a bit less wind noise.
Yeah. That's all for the questions there. Someone asked, how is the ambient lighting at night?
There isn't any.
Boom.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Roasted.
So that's the And I'm glad that question was asked because it really stood out to me. You'll see in my night drive that I do with this car, I'm like looking around and I'm checking all the systems and like there's no ambient lighting. And I was like, oh, okay. You're competing with all these German luxury cars that all kind of make a big deal about ambient lighting and it doesn't have any. So that was kind of frustrating.
Oh, you did the night drive?
I did the night drive already.
Interesting.
Yeah.
As your editor, I haven't seen that footage yet.
Yeah,
Moving on.
I was waiting until I got the drive impression so I could bundle it for you.
Yeah, cool, man. How's the trunk? Koenigsegg trifecta. I hope you're here because I will.
Koenigsegg.
Well.
Koenigsegg trifecta.
Okay, well I can't read. Didn't go to college.
The trunk has. I'll show you when we're parked. Has 11 cubic feet of space, which is the lowest in the segment for trunk size.
You'll try to get in it, right?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I will try to get in that trunk. I probably will be able to. It just won't be as comfortable as like the BMW M340i, which has 17 cubic feet of space, so quite a bit more.
Mobile Mama says, show the interior.
We're in it, baby. That's my wife. That's Mobile Mama. We're in the interior. We're definitely going to show this. We've got nice bezels with knurled finishes. This is a touchscreen infotainment, and it's pretty responsive, like really responsive. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in there. Yeah, I know, really fast, right?
Yeah.
Like some of these systems, there's like such a defined lag. This is really quick.
Wow, that's nice.
Like super fast. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but you do have to plug in. There's no wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto in those. You get a digital TFT display over here. It's not the full-on digital gauge cluster.
Tuxedo Black Cat says, hopefully the horn isn't funny.
Like the Genesis or like the G80.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that question. So I'm also going to answer the other question that he'll ask for sure, but let's do the horn real quick.
Normal.
No, normal horn. Normal horn for sure.
Okay.
But the Genesis G80 had a really odd sounding horn. So satisfy that concern, Tuxedo Black Cat. The horn sounds normal. The other thing you'll want to know is it easy to drive? And yes, it is definitely easy to drive. When you go into something like comfort or eco mode, the throttle is very manageable, the brake pedal isn't too grabby, the steering isn't too jerky, and it's very comfortable. So yeah, real easy to drive, no concerns there.
You covered 0 to 60.
Yeah, 0 to 60, 4.7 seconds for those who missed it.
And then you compared to the 3 Series and the C-Class. And then, so the last question on this list is, I'm thinking of getting this car, but the 2.0 version. Does the engine sound good?
So hang on, what was that? Did
Ed's here.
Ed,
Dude, where's my adaptive air suspension? That's what he says.
did Ed super chat?
Yeah, $10.
Dad, thank you so much. So there is no air suspension in this one. It just has adaptive dampers, and so the ride quality. And you know what? That's a good question. I don't think the M340i doesn't have an air suspension. The Audi S4 doesn't have an air suspension. The C43, I'm really trying to think. I don't think it's an air suspension. I know it's adaptive. So I don't know if anything in this class, Ed, has an air suspension system. So that's not something I feel like is missing here. Although it would certainly make the ride quality better, but it's gonna add a little bit of weight there. I don't know. I'm not too bothered that there is no air suspension in this vehicle.
We got another super chat, 499. Chris Nunez.
Chris, thank you for the super chat.
How's the Lexicon audio?
Oh, well, let's find out. I may need to plug in. So it's going to be real brief. The Lexicon audio test, I'll have a test of that in my PUV test drive, but it's going to be very brief because my cord wasn't working to get Apple CarPlay going. In the night drive, it's much more extensive. So you'll definitely want to watch that and listen to that. But I'll show you briefly. Let's see here. We want to go to radio. And we're tuned into chill. Let's play this briefly. I think, okay, so the bass was actually not as heavy as I expected. No. And I'm pretty sure everything's set up in the mid-range. I always kind of just do that, leave everything right in the middle just to see, not to give it any advantage. So the bass was not that heavy. The volume was quite intense. This is a 15 speaker sound system, if I recall. I don't know the watts. I don't know the watts of output. If someone knows in the chat, let me know. But I'll just say, like, just quick review here. I'm going to say that the sound did get a little distorted as it got louder. And but the volume could get pretty high. That was only, I would say, 2/3 of the volume. You get pretty high. The bass was not super heavy. I would kind of have like wanted a bit more bass in that one. All right, let's hop out and answer some other questions.
Koenigsegg's here, so
Koenigsegg is here?
yes.
The whole brand is here?
Yes,
That's
the whole brand is here.
That's amazing.
All right.
Make sure the bumper is still on there.
This color is beautiful.
Yeah, isn't this color cool?
Wow.
The name of the color actually escapes me at this very moment. I cannot remember what it's called. Oh, darn. But it's very cool, right? Like it's a
Beautiful.
It's a bluish green.
Yeah.
Bluish green. Good metallic flake, not like over dazzled like the no seriously, because I was in the Maserati Ghibli, and that one had a blue that looked like it was just doused in glitter. This is like the right amount of metallic flake in it. It's a beautiful color. I like it with the black gloss wheels, 19-inch wheels, the red brake calipers. That's a nice combo as well. But yeah, the color is very pretty. Any questions coming in?
No.
Scroll back. Anything? Nope. All right, so I'll just dance. That's what you guys signed up for. Anyway, so let's talk about this face.
Yeah.
What do we think about it, guys? In a color like this, it looks much more agreeable. So I was with Forrest, as I said before, and he had this car in matte white, and the face became a little much for me. I like the split headlights. Their size and shape, something about them looks a bit off to me. Something like the reminds me a bit of the Aston Martin Vantage, where like the headlight shape was a bit wonky, and for that reason it kind of looked a little odd to me. Adriatic? Thank you. Thank you, Ed. Yes, that's actually a really well-named color, because you know you think ocean blue, and it's Adriatic Sea, obviously it's a sea, not an ocean. But you think about an ocean sea blue, and it's not just dark blue, and it's not just like almost sky blue in certain parts. It's deep and it has intricacy to it, so that's a perfectly named color. Thank you, Ed. So the face, I want to get you back to a second. It's a lot of grille, right? You've got this big Genesis corporate grille up here, but then you got all this ventilation down here, very good for cooling the engine. But it's a lot of grille. And then you've got these headlights here with the four pattern. That the LEDs look cool, but the shape of the headlights, something about it seems a little funky to me. I don't know if I'm all on board with the face. The rear end, I love. And the profile, I love as well. Car's gonna be in shadow on this side. I don't know if you can see it.
Let's go the other side.
Okay, other side. The silhouette with the greenhouse kind of pushed back definitely says rear drive.
Yeah, man. That's CLS vibes.
CLS vibes?
Like the shape.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a gentle taper to the roof line, but it is still more sedan. Like it doesn't. You can see the defined kink here where where the trunk begins. So it's not just the roof line goes all the way to the tail of the car. Yeah. It is still more sedan defined. But I like the silhouette quite a bit.
It's nice.
It is nice, and that color it looks so good.
Nope. Pull it forward a little bit so we
can
see that rear end.
See the butt?
Yeah. Okay.
I said it.
Yeah. As he's doing that, guys, if you're curious to see his lineup of cars before they're posted, you can be a channel member. You join the membership. There's multiple membership options, but I believe the co-driver package or the co-driver option is the one where you get to see the lineup of cars the week.
You're talking about Patreon?
Before. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the channel memberships.
Yeah, channel memberships, Patreon.
Yeah, really
yeah,
good.
Support the channel, please.
Get you guys really involved, and it's really rad. It's fun to see what cars are coming out before they come out and be a part of that team.
3.3 turbo V6, as I mentioned. The rear end, this I almost think it's too much. The Genesis fully spelled out on the rear. It looks a little lost in space here. Like this is a lot of blank, and then just Genesis is floating. I like it down low. I like the shape of the exhaust outlets, and it is quad pipe, so there are 2 pipes in each of the exhaust finishers here.
Someone asked for the hazards to be turned on to take a look ski.
Let's do it.
Let's do turn signals too first.
We'll do turn signals first.
All right.
Okay. Hazards next.
Alrighty. Fun stuff.
You want to see from the front?
Yeah. For those of you who are wondering, it's not orange, it's actually red.
Oh, the color?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not the yellow, although up front we do have yellow. Is that a regulation? We have to have yellow on a certain one, or it doesn't matter?
That's a question I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Let me show you the turn signal. Hit them with they turns. Yeah? And it shows up in both lines, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's nice.
Do you guys want to hear the horn from the outside? JD's, he's resigned to his fate. All right, look, it's gonna be quick, okay? That's it. It sounds like a very normal horn. Any other questions coming in about the Genesis G70? We can show, let's show more of the interior kind of in depth, because it was hard to see when I'm driving it.
Got a couple people not a fan of the lettering on the back.
Yeah, it really does look like it's floating there. Like they're trying too hard to be, yeah, luxury.
And all the badges too. It's like the whole back is covered in badges.
Yeah, it's true. Let me look at that again.
It's just like badge, name, badge.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I expect this, right? Like, I like that this is nice and small.
Yeah.
They're just like, look, this is the trim level, or in this case, the engine. G70's fine over there. This is just a little much. That's all. It just looks like it's floating.
I like the
someone
font,
asked about
though.
the trunk earlier, right? So the trunk release button is hidden here above the. I don't know if we saw that. It's above the backup camera. Very subtle. And it does open. Here's just a bag kind of for reference in this trunk, and I mentioned it's 11 cubic feet of space, 11.7 I believe. But you know what? The thing is, like, the floor is very high, and so it's really shallow. You know, you asked if I could fit in here. I don't even know. We're gonna find out. Let's find out.
Support.
Thank you guys for your support.
That seems tight.
Oh, it's tight. My head is on the back.
You had more room in the Ridgeline's bed trunk.
Yeah, I did. Jeez, because that was deep. Okay, so I could fully make it in. You could close the trunk.
All right. Yeah, he's in there. That works. Fun little story. When we were kids, his dad had a Corvette.
How did I end up in Iraq?
His dad had a Corvette, and the way that he would pick me up is he would pick me up, I'd be sitting in the passenger seat.
So illegal.
And Miles rode in the trunk.
Guys, this is actually awful. I'm gonna limbo out of here.
Oh, God.
So, you can fit in a trunk, a Genesis G70, 6 foot tall adult, but you won't like it. Not that anyone does actually go, yeah, put me in the trunk, but if you had to be taken somewhere against your will, or you know, if you had will, there is a spare tire under there. Okay, so that is a difference. Some of the competitors do not offer spare tires. The floor is so high because they chose to offer a spare tire. That excuses it a little bit, okay? Stay. Any other questions?
Ed Star wants to know how the back feels.
The back seats, let's show you. So that seat's pushed all the way back. That seat's in my driver's seat, so I'll go over there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tight fit, man. Yeah, real tight fit.
Okay, yeah, that's my driver's position. It's 6 feet tall. And it's pretty tight back here. Reminds me about of the space that I had in the TLX Type S. Even though it's a bigger, longer, wider car than this, the cabin of that vehicle was pretty tight. You know what's the other issue is the knee indents. For taller folks, it's going to be on the upper limit of your knees. So they do cutouts in these seats for your knees to slot in there. But this one, it's like my knee hits the border on the top anyway. So it's like the cutouts needed to be even more defined. You can fit back here as a 6 foot tall adult behind another 6 foot tall adult, but the foot pockets are not very deep, and my headroom My head's on the roof.
Are you trying to fit back here, or do you just barely fit?
I can just barely fit.
Okay, so you're not actually trying to make yourself smaller to fit.
No, I'm not right now. Good question. I'm not trying at all to like contort myself or like hunch over or anything. I can fit if I'm really relaxed and I just put my head up. It is resting on the roof.
Yeah.
And so I could slink forward. Just no, my head's just kind of on the roof.
You can't get that headrest.
No, I don't feel really relaxed back here.
Okay.
You know what I do love? They even put like knurled finishes on the borders, the cup holders in the back seat.
Let's hear that nail against it.
There's that ASMR for you, huh?
Yeah, that's good.
Well, not if you go.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, see, if you keep saying something, then it's not ASMR.
Okay,
anymore.
yeah. Ooh.
No. See, you have to be quiet.
Okay, yeah. That's nice.
Okay, so everyone tuned out at that point. I like the red contrast stitching in the seats, the perforation. These are not heated in the rear. They're heated and ventilated in the fronts.
Someone says doesn't look comfortable. Would you say that even though it's a little bit of a tight fit, would you consider it a comfortable seat?
Yes, definitely. This seat is very comfortable, and I'm glad someone asked that question. It's very plush. I feel like supported. There's good support in the lumbar.
See how I fit.
So the bolsters on the side aren't overly aggressive. Watch this out.
Okay, so I'm just.
Your seat was pushed all the way back, by the way.
Okay,
I did
not
do that.
get my feet underneath it.
Yeah.
At all.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Now you can. Yeah.
No,
it's just.
I literally, the seat is all the way to the ground.
Okay. Well, you can raise the seat a little bit, but it's
crazy.
it's tight back here, guys.
Just a little bit shorter than you.
It's tight back here.
Let me move this forward to give this a try, because I would be considered not as tall as Miles. So he is 6 foot and I'm 5'11". So let's see here. So if we have a little bit extra space, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that person, that's not a super compromised position for that passenger, but it is like, it's not, you're not having gobs of room.
Yeah.
And so back here, you're like,
I don't hit the roof. I'm right there. I often wear a hat, so my hat does hit the roof.
yeah.
But
You can fit, and I mean you could do full-size adults
Yeah.
in 4 seats. This middle seat, not a chance.
no way.
This drive shaft hump is very
It's
tall, super defined here. You do have one USB port back there.
Yeah, that drive
So
shaft.
you got to share.
You're riding it. You're splitting your legs on either side.
For sure. And the footwells for these two passengers aren't so big that we can really share that space. I would be like this.
Someone says, "Let's see your legs, bro." For mine, I'm already out.
You're already up. Yes, but with the seat forward, he did have a bit more knee room than I do.
Okay. Very, very short shorts. So I have space.
Yeah, you got some room.
But I can't get my feet any further.
So like the footwells are not tall.
I don't know if there's the motor for the automatic seats.
Yeah, it might be for the ventilators.
I don't know if you
No,
have
that's
that
usually
too.
like
It literally
built into
feels
the
like it's on the ground.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the middle. It's to the left and right of the center of the seat. You can kind of squeeze it. This is really in depth on this, by the way. I just did realize. Have questions been coming in about other things?
Just commenting. My kids can fit in the back, but not me.
Yeah, that
I
makes
love
sense.
the G80. Miles isn't average height. I'm so relaxed right now.
Oh, good.
The back seat is tight, but an average sized person can definitely fit with no problem. I would say that I would be considered average size because I am under 6 feet and I can fit with no problem. I would take this ride to LA, an hour.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take this ride to like
Long
Big
road,
Bear, 2
yeah.
hours.
Long
No.
road trip, no, probably not. I wouldn't feel super comfortable as a full-size adult back here. Kids, yes. To that person's point,
Yes.
I don't know who said that. Kids, absolutely back here, no problems.
As a father, I'd say a car seat would be tough to fit back here too.
Well, that and also, how wide did the doors open?
I would say wide enough.
Wide enough, yeah.
It's
So,
just
but
low.
you're
This
gonna
is
have
low.
to. So the wheel arch back here does cut into the cabin a bit. So if you were trying to put a car seat back here, you kind of have to angle it to get it in. But you do have exposed latch points, so that's, or they call I6 latch points. So you do have those where you can clip in there pretty easily. ISOFIX. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to see the engine? Oh, I should rev it. How have I not revved it yet?
You didn't do it.
I'm sorry, guys. Give me a few minutes to get out, and just kidding. That actually was not bad. Just kidding. So I'll put it in Sport Plus mode again. We'll give you a couple of revs. How is it? JD doesn't seem impressed. So
It sounds okay.
were there any, like, I didn't hear any overrun, no burbles of the exhaust, the extra unburned fuel being burned up.
I got a little like hiccup at most.
Yeah, okay. So there's like a little woof at the very end of the
Yes.
exhaust, but there's not, you're not getting the intense overrun, the pops, the snaps that you kind of got. I've had that in the M340i, definitely got that. TLX Type S also has this pretty good sounding exhaust system. All of those cars, like this one, have an active exhaust system. So in the eco comfort modes, it'll close off the inside valves, and so you're just getting the pipes on the outside. But then it opens up the valves in the exhaust when you're in Sport and Sport Plus mode. So yeah, the exhaust sounds, I mean, it sounded deep and rich,
Yeah.
but there's not that fun, exciting, enthusiast pops and bangs. Let's look at the engine as well.
If I was on the other side of the parking lot, which isn't that big, I would.
Not really noticed?
No.
That's fair. So I mentioned very early on the horsepower. So I can find the release. There it is. That's a really underwhelming engine cover. That looks like the same engine cover they put on the 2.0. Yeah, I kind of would have expected something a bit more exciting. All right, so 3.3 liter twin turbo V6 that makes 365 horsepower, 376 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 takes 4.7 seconds. That comes from Genesis. I would bet money that this is a low 4-second car, 0 to 60, and that's the rear drive version. The all-wheel drive version probably even quicker than that. And the top speed is 167 miles per hour. Those numbers stack up really nicely with the competitors like the M340i, the TLX Type S, the S4, and the C43. So good power, somewhat underwhelming engine cover.
I like the pretend carbon fiber.
Yeah, that's also pretty. That's hard. That's not good. That's not good. There is some sound deadening up here. That means that you're getting the lower frequency engine noise. I don't know off the top of my head if they type anything in through the speakers. I wouldn't be shocked if they did, but they're not doing it in such a way that it sounds really artificial.
I'm gonna rev it with the open.
With the engine open? Sure.
See if we get a little bit more sound out of it.
Well, you're just going to hear induction noise from the front, but
Might be cool.
that sounds like a quality engine.
That's a lot more exciting than what I heard in the back end. Also to see the whole engine move is pretty good.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a pretty well-built engine. It doesn't have, it's not a rasp. There doesn't seem like there's much complaints there. It's like, no, I've got power. I've got plenty of power. So someone who was considering this vehicle, that they were like, oh, I might get the 2.0. I haven't driven the 2.0, at least not of the 22. I think I drove the 2.0 in 2018 and found it to be fairly, yeah, it was fine. But that one, it felt like it was having to work really probably too hard to do some of the things that it could eventually do. But I mean, on paper, the performance is fine. That one, you can get it with a manual. This one, you can't. You can only have it with the 8-speed automatic that it has. You can get it rear drive or all-wheel drive, as I said, for both the 2.0 and the 3.3.
Yes.
Good engine.
Since it auto hinges on hood, very convenient.
Yeah, the hydraulics on the hood. Yeah, that's. I mean, that I would be really disappointed if. And I think, did the TLX Type S have that? Man, I can't remember. I think the TLX Type S had a prop one. If I'm saying that completely wrong, guys, please forgive me. But I think it might have had a prop one, and I was like, oh, this doesn't belong. Because, yeah, you're buying a luxury car. It should have the hydraulics for the hood. And 2 struts, not just 1. Thank you. Any other questions?
No comments. Hopefully this doesn't have the same engine from Kia. Those have been recalled.
The 3. I mean, it's the same engine that's in the Stinger GT. So if that was recalled, and I didn't see that, if that was recalled, then I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think it makes the same power, 365, as the Stinger GT.
It does have heads-up display.
Yeah, it does.
So it says for production car, it's decent sounding.
Yeah, I mean, so I've revved a lot of cars in my day, and that sounded like a pretty solid engine. Not the most exciting exhaust note, no overrun or anything like that, but it sounded quality.
How about the electronic features?
Electronic features. So I mean, we should hop into the front passenger seat real quick. And I'm going to back into my parking space once more just to stay out of folks' way. We showed the infotainment and its relative responsiveness. Here's the surround view camera system that's on this vehicle. And it's a pretty high resolution display. Always having that bird's eye view is so nice, even for a small car like this. Just making sure you're getting right between those lines. That's really nice. But the infotainment itself is super quick to respond. Like I said, I just wish it had wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This is a 2022 model year vehicle. That seems like a miss to not have wireless Apple CarPlay. That took a second, not too long. But then when you're touching the screen, it's so quick. And that makes a huge difference, because I typically like a controller as a redundancy to that. You can not use the steering wheel controls to control that except for changing like the radio station. But not having a controller in this car is not as big of a deal because it's so responsive, right? If you were driving, you want as minimal distractions as possible. So if you're having to click the screen and you're assuming that it's taking your input and then acting on that, but it's actually lagging and you're trying to go to the next thing, that's more of your attention spent on the screen than you actually want. So the fact that this is really quick to respond means that it's not nearly as much of a distraction as other dedicated touchscreen displays that don't have a controller. So that's a definite plus in this car's favor.
Does it have voice assistant?
It does. You can do voice commands. You can't do anything truly advanced, like you can say things like
please say a command.
Cool my seat.
Communication, such as pairing or connecting Bluetooth, is in progress. Please try again later.
Okay. Okay, so it's confused because it also thinks I'm trying to Bluetooth connect with it. All right, so if Bluetooth wasn't trying to pair with it for some reason, I don't know why it is, then it would take a voice command, but you can't do anything super sophisticated like saying I'm feeling hot, or like Amber. No, because you can do that in Mercedes-Benz vehicles. You can say I am feeling hot, and it'll cool the cabin air. JD is mocking me. He thinks that's funny. It is funny, all right? People don't really say that to their cars. Hey, Genesis. I'm feeling hot.
He just plays Bruno Mars
Yeah.
on the radio.
Yeah, you don't actually say things like that, but the Germans think you do. So that's a good voice command you can make. They're like trying to be more intuitive with it. The fact that the heating and ventilation controls are really easy to access. You can have your hand just resting on the drive selector and just tap one of these controls really easily. 3 stages for each of those is very nice. As I said, the quality of the materials is on the higher end, certainly for this segment and for this price point. Less than 52 as tested. The quality of the materials in this cabin feels very good. Like there's not anything in here I'm like, oh, this feels cheap. Like, how could they do that in a $52,000 car? Everything feels right on par.
It's not injection molded. This is actually leather.
Up here?
Yeah. Or is it injection?
You sure
molded?
that's injection molding?
Oh,
no.
okay.
Down here, this is really nice quilted leather in here. This is leather, contrast stitched. Yeah, that's real nice. Down here, that's hard plastics, but that's kind of like every automaker down below the belt line. Yeah, you're gonna kick it, you're gonna scratch it. That's a decent speaker cover, but down here, kind of like the TLX Type S, there's no really nice speaker cover.
Yeah.
This trim looks like scales of a fish.
Yeah.
And it's not continued anywhere on the dash, it's just here in the door inserts. That's an interesting choice.
I think it'd be, personally, I think it'd be too distracting up on the dash.
that material, you're right, would be kind of distracting up on the dash. Here in your peripherals, it's not. That's a good point.
Accent.
That's a fair point. We were just talking about driver distraction. It is here on the center, and that's not too distracting.
No, because the light's not gonna hit it as easily.
Yeah, it looks cool. I wish it actually had texture to it. It's all flush, so it looks like it has ripples. If this actually had ripples in it, I would be so impressed. Because I'm such a tactile person, I like it. Has auto hold, that's really important. You can activate the surrounded camera system at any point below a certain speed just by hitting that button, and then it comes up. So that's it for kind of interior fit and finish things. The paddles feel nice. The steering wheel feels great. It all feels very much like solid material quality for this price. And the engine performance is definitely there for this price. I like this car quite a bit. The styling of the front is not necessarily my cup of tea. I actually prefer the pre-facelifted G70 styling.
Someone said at least it's not piano black. We know how we feel about that on this channel.
Yep, that is very true. That's actually a great point. They didn't, man, I feel like that's a crutch for, there's a tiny bit of piano black here, which start stop button, okay, your finger might smudge there, but it's never in a noticeable place. The hazards, hopefully you're not having to hit them very often. That's a crutch for so many automakers, just leaning on piano black because they're like, oh, it looks good when you sell the car and if you take photos of it. But the problem is that then it doesn't look good, like 24 hours after or less. So they didn't lean on that. They used, like, leather even extends all the way down here. Like, this is very impressive to me. This here is harder plastics on the outside, but you're not really gonna touch those. This is a softer plastic in here, but this is leather. All the way down here, that's not often done. Definitely not at this price. So that's cool. Good material quality.
I will say the front seat is comfortable.
Yes, definitely. Good support on the sides, and these bolsters can be adjusted on the sides.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not a big
oh,
fellow,
and I can extend my thigh support.
but I will say that there's space in the bolsters if you are slightly wider.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you were slightly wider at a time. Would your slightly wider self have fit in these seats, do you think?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I did not fit many seats.
Oh, that's true. Well, you went wide. I mean, it was like, we could go wide or we could go wide.
I went wide.
You went wide.
Capital W.
You made a big splash, literally, in the pool.
Often. But you don't put down 40 chicken McNuggets easily without being wide.
That's true.
Yep.
You loved your Big Mac sauce.
Yes.
Anyway, so a narrower torso person will fit very easily in this. Slightly overweight, you should be just fine. If you are really rotund, it might be a problem.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for the... What? That we're ending on that?
Yeah, we're ending on talking about people's body sizes.
I'm just... How do bodies fit in seats is very important for people. You've got a wide variety of body types and people trying to find comfortable seats. So I just thought that's important to mention. Well, any other questions before we go?
Someone mentioned the moonroof, so you can...
Ooh, yeah, okay, so it's a pretty good sized moonroof, and that comes with the Prestige package. And it does open up nice and wide. It doesn't go any further than that.
Oh, it's like...
I wish it went all the way back.
Yeah, it's like 2/3.
No, it's 3/4. That's a 3/4 moonroof.
Okay.
But I would say that because the moonroof itself is already larger, sunroof technically, because sunroof's open. Because the sunroof is technically larger, this feels like a full, normal sunroof opening.
Yeah.
Okay? Ooh, and then it is a power sunshade. Ooh, and I forgot, it is a suede headliner. Ooh, that screams luxury. It says it. It doesn't scream it. Screaming would be kind of completely against the morals and the principles of luxury. You should have to speak softly with luxury. You don't have to scream. Okay, so we'll end with that. Guys, thank you so much for watching the 22 Genesis G70. Our cameraman host, Julian Melnick, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, no problem.
And guys, we'll see you next time. Look for the POV test drive of this, the night drive, and the drive impressions. And thank you guys for the super chat. Ed, and was it, I cannot remember, was it Nicholas? No.
Let's find out, shall we?
Who super chatted as well? Because I want to call you out and thank you for the super chat because it really does help support the channel.
I'm going.
We're going.
We're going. Found him. Chris Nunez.
Chris Nunez, thank you so much for the super chat, guys. I really appreciate it.